We're a unique podcast for families of faith. Produced by parents and pastors who understand and appreciate how hard it is to maintain your faith in a hostile culture. We're here to encourage and support you in the most vital role of all, parenting. If you're feeling overwhelmed and afraid, it's okay. You're not alone. Brilliantly Brave is hosted by two honest and engaging dads with 9 kids between them. A road tripper, author, and pastor, Father Brad Matthias, and iShine founder, solo parenting expert, and all-around foodie, Mr. Robert Beeson. Join us each week as we explore and engage with some of the most intriguing, inspiring, outrageous, and awesome parents in the world. This is Brilliantly Brave.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Brilliantly Brave Parenting. I am your co-host, Pastor Brad Matthias, and I'm here in the studio with Robert Beeson.
Hello, Brad. How are you?
I'm splendiferous.
You don't seem it. You don't have the energy or pep you usually have.
Well, that's because you've chided me in the past.
Chided you?
I've been working on my vocabulary. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Splendiferous, chided.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Okay. So for Thanksgiving, we're doing a special podcast, just you and I. We're going to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And we're going to maybe help some parents.
That would be great. That's kind of our intention, right?
Yeah, I think so. So, Robert, I know for most parents, Thanksgiving is one of those really tricky holidays because you've got a certain number of days available to do a lot of stuff. I thought about it for my own family. It seems like you're either going or coming somewhere, and you've got just enough time to get there, kind of unpack, set up camp, cook, have a meal, go shopping, go to the movies, pack everything back up, and drive home. Like 4 or 5 days.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And so it's not like really a rest.
Not at all.
Not
at all.
Yeah. Thanksgiving isn't like a restful holiday for most people.
It's true, which is a shame because that's kind of, I would think, the intention.
Right. Yeah.
The original intent is
sort of the pause that refreshes. Yeah, that kind of thing. And so I was thinking about, as we went through kind of the fall season, I know you as well as I and everyone I know, especially at church, everyone just seems to continue to add to their schedule. There doesn't seem to be a pullback ever.
No.
Like I can remember even just 5 years ago that there seemed to be, even at our work, here at iShine, like we would have a break.
It would slow down. And certainly in the music business, it basically all just kind of comes to a halt. Thanksgiving is like the beginning of it really just tailing off. I know if you're in retail or you're in kind of businesses like that, that's when everything is elevated. But you're right. For us and we're not launching tours. We're not filming television necessarily. We're just all kind of slowing down. So,
yeah. And I noticed that about 5 years ago, that window of slowing down started to shrink, didn't it?
Yep, it sure did.
Yeah. Like it was almost a ghost town here in Franklin, Tennessee for the month of December. Really. Yeah. I mean, you barely took meetings. You didn't really have lunches or coffees.
You couldn't schedule because people were either out of town or they're taking time off or whatever. Yeah.
And
it hasn't been that way lately.
No, it hasn't. In fact,
I can't imagine. I can't remember being busier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be able to, just between the two of us, make a sort of a principle out of that, but I'm going to guess that most of our listeners can identify with what we just shared.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think life is speeding up and filling up, and technology has made things more efficient, which means we can do more stuff.
And when you get into this season, if you're a stay-at-home mom, or even if you're a parent, this is when everything starts getting to a climax because your Thanksgiving marks the beginning of, do you have all your gifts purchased? Are you going to decorate for Christmas? Are you going to have a Christmas party? So everything is like, not only is it the normal craziness of whatever your vocation is, but then added to it is the expectation of delivering an amazing holiday season. And so that puts an exorbitant amount of pressure on parents to, okay, now we got to really kind of change modes and our house has got to be completely redecorated from top to bottom. And that's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. I think for me as a parent, I have a lot of mixed feelings about these holidays. Thanksgiving and Christmas are sort of back to back, squeezed together. this idea that I want to spend time with my kids. I want to honor my relatives, my in-laws, my family, and I need a little time for me. And so there's this sort of tug of war, if you will, on the push and pull of the available time I have. I know this year, and I know for many families that there just isn't a lot of option. There's only a couple of days they get. Usually it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Thanksgiving. You got to put up the Christmas lights, Yep. You've got to do the shopping on Friday, or you got to have the meal on Thursday. You've got football to watch. You've got a lot of family things that are sort of traditional that you look forward to. And somewhere in the middle of that, we get sort of shuffled out of the deck.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd love for this podcast to be a little bit about kind of re-examining why we have Thanksgiving and maybe reminding parents to actually plan to not do something. That sounds like a contradiction, but I really think that's an essential part of a parenting journey, and it might be helpful for kids to see that, to actually see that there's a value in rest. Yeah, and I know for many people, Thanksgiving is also a time of year where they have some really painful memories. Yeah, where they've had a loss in the year, or the year that they just went through, or the year that they've passed. So, like, if you've lost a family member, a spouse, a dear friend,
or gone through a divorce,
or have had real struggles financially, you kind of look at these holidays as a little bit of an apprehension, because you're not sure what you're going to do or how you're going to handle it. Yeah. So the holidays can be incredibly, I mean, if you want to summarize this intro, the holidays can be incredibly stressful if there's not some intentionality. It's true. If you don't really look at your calendar, think ahead with your spouse and say, hey, these are the options that we have. What's realistic for us? And what should we do? More than just a guilt reflex, right? More than just we've got to go to Aunt so-and-so's because we went to the other family member last year and it's their turn. Right. There might need to be a little more thought process into that. And so with all that said, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, actually, this is the first year in probably since I can remember living in Tennessee, which has been about 22 years, that we will not be at home for for Thanksgiving. We're actually going on a family cruise. And when I say family cruise, it's not just our family, it's extended family. So there's a massive exodus of people on our side of the family, my wife's side of the family. They're all meeting in Miami to go on a cruise. So we will actually be at sea on Thanksgiving Day. And I'm really excited about that, because it's going to be really good to be with family and everything. But I have to say that there's a little bit of a bittersweet to it, because I loved Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's absolutely my favorite holiday because it doesn't have to do with us or what we're going to get. It's really about pausing and being grateful for what we have. And it's the chance to do that together. And so we'll be able to do that out at sea, I'm sure, but not, it's not going to be exactly the same thing. And it'll be different, which is good. But I think for me, it's going to be a change in, I guess, the more intimate connectedness that I have always looked forward to in Thanksgiving. It's going to be more of a, buffet lines and big, whatever, which is great. It's just going to be different. So I'm kind of looking forward to it being different for a change, because I've only known one thing. I've always cooked and always had people over and always sat around the table and just took our time and, that's when we started listening to Christmas music. And now with this trip, the day we get back, we are going to have like 3 weeks until Christmas. And so I'm feeling a little bit of that anxiety about how are we going to get everything done in time and stuff. So, but it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. And it's kind of cool that I love cooking, that, but it's going to be kind of cool to not do that, to not have that pressure.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you guys are really resetting this Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you hold on to things so tight as tradition. And sometimes it's nice to just kind of break out of that. And maybe we'll find we want to go back to that tradition, or maybe we're going to say, hey, you know what? There's a new tradition. Let's go somewhere on Thanksgiving. So we'll see. How about you? What are you doing?
Well, I'm doing the sort of slow and steady this year. The idea of actually taking a cruise or doing something crazy for Thanksgiving, that's more in keeping with my past. We do crazy stuff as a family. But this year we're sort of swapping places. I'm actually sort of settling in. We had a really difficult year as a family. Yes, you
did.
We lost my dad and we lost my sister-in-law, Judy. And then we gained 4 son-in-laws, right? So both of my daughters and both of my nieces got married in the last, 12 to 14 months.
And
we have a grandson.
And a grandson.
Yeah, we have a grandson. So all of a sudden, like, we've got this big extended family, we've double, tripled the family. Yeah. So we're starting that process of really understanding, okay, well, some of us can be at some place, for just a short period of time. And so how do you coordinate that? I have a daughter on the east, kind of on the east, and then one daughter on the west coast. And, you've got nieces in, North Carolina, and everybody's scattered. And so all of a sudden that tradition of sort of gathering has an even deeper meaning than before. So we felt like this first year after losing Wooly and Judy that we needed to sort of be together because really all that stuff started at Thanksgiving last year. Her cancer and all the things that we found out. So I think for us, it's going to be difficult to just have a light and exciting, time at Thanksgiving. It's going to be a little harder. But I do think the principle of Thanksgiving, the idea of gathering as a family, being together as you go through life, I think that endures. I would love to do a cruise in a year. I think that's a great idea. I'm going to find out how this goes for you.
Yeah.
Because the idea of not having to cook, you don't have to do dishes, you're being served, you're actually resting. All the things I just said 10 minutes ago are true. Like you're actually pausing to refresh.
Yeah.
And you're with your family.
Right.
And so I'm sure it'll have its own challenges, its own stresses, if you will, but they'll be different. They won't be as expected or as usual. So
that's one of the things I do like about going on a cruise is that you have no choice but to unplug. Like you can pay for Wi-Fi, but you like really can't talk to anyone. You're just there with who you're there with. And I'm looking forward to that. What you said struck a chord in me because this is, I'm reminded that this trip that we're taking is the final trip before my family starts splintering. My daughter, after we get back from the cruise, my eldest is moving to Colorado within 2 weeks. So she won't even be here for Christmas. So this will be the last time we're all together in one place. My middle daughter is moving to Chattanooga in January. And so it's kind of bittersweet in that way too. Like this is actually like maybe the last time that we know that we're all going to be in one place. Because after this becomes more complicated. Like, do I come back from Colorado? Do we go out, So yeah, I'm going to enjoy it while we have it.
Yeah. And I think you're really wise to seize that moment. I think you'll have no regrets for that.
I believe that going into it. I'm not really apprehensive about it. I'm more just want to treasure it, And I think that's the thing about almost any holiday is you have to be intentional about finding things to treasure. Because if you don't, you can get really lost in just the mayhem of everything. And so, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it is taking time to just be thoughtful about how important and valuable these moments are to be treasured. So I'm going to definitely be doing that.
Yeah, I think I really I look at Thanksgiving as this opportunity for parents to connect with their kids, pull away from their schedules, really slow down. Even if you're busy, at least you're doing something together as a family rather than everyone being scattered during a normal day, school, work, whatever.
Yeah.
The fact that you can be together. And I think for parents, this opportunity can be lost if you're not careful. I can remember being tempted, and I'm not going to accuse anyone of anything, but I can remember being tempted to just watch football and sit on the couch and just eat.
How would that be anybody else's fault but yours? You don't want to mention any of it.
Well, I'm just saying that it's possible that I've seen that before. That I've seen that modeled, perhaps.
Oh, okay, okay, I get it.
So I was tempted to do the same thing as a parent, and I remember just sort of rousing myself, getting myself up off the couch and saying, what, I'm going to go play with my kids. Mm-hmm. I have this couple of days here that you get every so little.
Yeah.
And I want to go where they are. And so I inserted myself into a PlayStation game. I got them to come outside on a walk. We threw a football and a Frisbee. We, we sort of made something. We did like some kind of cooking contest. They introduced me to some crazy card game. It takes a little bit of an effort for a parent to sort of insert themselves right into that environment with their kids. Well, I would encourage parents to make that effort.
I think that's an incredibly important distinction to, a lot of times we're so wound up in like our family and tradition and whatever, whether it's a holiday or not, I think it's good to go, okay, where are my kids living? Meaning, is it Xbox? Is it cooking? Is it throwing a football? And inserting yourself into their world instead of anticipating or expecting them to come into your world and sit in front of the television and watch football or whatever. So I think it's a great bit of advice, and it's something that doesn't come naturally. It's like not something that it just pops in, I should go and do this with Skylar or whatever.
It takes intentionality.
You have to go, okay, what's important to Brennan right now? I'm going to go put myself where Brennan's at and not expect Brennan to come to me. And same with Zara or any of my kids. And so that's a great reminder.
Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, there's a sacrifice for the parent. That's saying, I'm going to delay what I want to do in this moment, and I'm going to invest in this opportunity with my kids. I would encourage parents. So I'm a grandfather now. I can speak sort of old and wise and all that. Really glad that I did insert myself as many times as I was able to in these sort of family traditional moments. My kids now have sort of memories of playing football. They call it $5. If you caught the ball, you got like quarter. If you got on the first bounce.
That's really great.
And so we sort of made up these games, and now they want to keep playing them as adults. It's sort of this fun sort of family tradition. I'm curious. Every family develops their own traditions. I have one that I do that I'm famous for in my home, and the kids actually kind of have a love-hate relationship with this tradition.
You're yodeling?
Not yodeling. No, okay. I am Swiss, but I don't yodel.
So what is it? What is your...
I ask everyone around the table to share before we eat. So
you just took mine.
Well, I mean, I think it's a common one, right? So it's not just ours, but I mean, there's this moment where they know every year I'm going to call on them. What are you thankful for? Yep. Caleb hates this.
My kids resist it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Jessica's
we go around the table
dying
and say,
to do it. Jessica's got notes, man. She's written out like 3 pages of things she's thankful for. Caleb just wants to crawl under the table.
But what a great discipline to go around the table and everyone has to say something they're grateful for.
I know it's simple, but it's kind of important, right?
I think it's really important. It's not only important for you as an exercise to find things that you're grateful for or thankful for, but it's also really good to share that in a community, because as you hear those things, you just kind of realize that even though things may be difficult, even though losing a father or a sister or, a divorce, whatever it is, there are still things to be thankful for. And not only saying it, but hearing those things really help the mood of everything. So I love that tradition. That's what we do at the table as well. I would encourage parents to do that. I think it's easy. It doesn't require a lot of
you don't have to
setup.
Prep. Yeah.
But it's just, you
got to be prepared to endure an awkward moment.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be some resistance.
It's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially if you have teenagers, there's going to be a little resistance.
Yeah, eye rolling and oh, come on.
And if you invite a guest, don't stop doing it.
Exactly. No, we don't.
It's kind of, a sacred thing, if you will. Okay, so that's one tradition. I know another tradition for a lot of people is this idea of getting up very early in the morning, maybe not going to bed, Thanksgiving night, and then going shopping on Black Friday. I know that's sort of faded a little with Cyber Monday and the new, digital transformation of sales, but I think there's still a hardcore remnant of people.
I'll go a step further. I actually think, and I don't necessarily like this, but it's crept into Thanksgiving evening. It used to be you stay up and wake up and go shopping really early. Now you've got like Walmart or Target starting at 3:00 in the afternoon on Thanksgiving or 4:00, and they're all trying to. I know, and so everyone wants to get off and get in line to get the first flat screen. They've only got 3 at $300 or whatever it is, and that's kind of sad. But I do like the energy that it creates of doing something together, because it's seldom, in a Thanksgiving setting, is it one person saying, I'm going to go shopping for Black Friday? It's typically in twos or threes. For us, it's the women. It's definitely not me. Or the kids do with their friends or whatever. So there is something community about it. I don't completely hate it. I just don't like the fact that it's infringing on it's almost the antithesis of being grateful.
It is, and that's why I kind of brought it up. I think so. For Thanksgiving, there's this unique dichotomy, juxtaposed. I'm using my big words.
Big.
This idea that you have this gratitude moment immediately followed.
Let's go get more stuff
by this mass commercialism, right?
Yeah.
This like selfish, sort of compulsive, insatiable desire to have more. And our entire marketing, the entire marketing mass of the world pushes us in this moment to go buy. It compels us to want more.
Yeah. And
so it's like our culture is attacking this holiday. It's really weird if you think about it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
So as a parent, especially if you have younger children or preteen, early teens, whether you're single or married, it doesn't matter. You're going to have the same battle. And the battle is, how do you capture a moment of gratitude and then hold it through the early part of Christmas into Christmas? Do you have any ideas on that? Any suggestions?
I think it just comes back to being intentional about your thought and your perspective. Because I am a firm believer that you will find whatever you look for. And so if you are looking for things to be thankful for, or if you're looking for things to be generous with, you'll find those things. But if you're just kind of naysaying and looking at, there's going to be negative about everything. If you look for the negative, you're going to find it. There's plenty of it.
Sure.
So I think, to me, it's more about how we frame the things that we do and how we frame the opportunities than it is about the opportunities themselves. So with going shopping with someone, or even looking online, do it together. Just be intentional about taking whatever it is that's coming our way and make sure you're just not doing it alone, and frame your thoughts as being grateful for having the opportunity to even do that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the things that has been really helpful for me, and I won't even say this for my kids, I'm just going to say for me as a parent, because we get sucked into it too, right? I mean, as a parent, you want to provide for your kids. You feel that, especially if you're a dad,
absolutely, you
just want to make sure they have the coolest Christmas ever. You want to make sure they have the stuff they really want. And you start adding that up in your head with a calculator, you got 3, 4, 5 kids. I mean, you're looking at thousands of dollars pretty quick.
Yep.
And so for a dad, I think this can sort of really stress us a little bit. Like, how am I going to do that? How am I going to provide? So we can get kind of sucked into that as well. And one of the things that my mom made us do, which now, other than wearing all the same sweater for the picture, she really actually did it. I had that mom,
I know you do.
Yeah, they weren't pretty sweaters. These were something else.
Well, in the eye of the beholder.
Well, my mom, she has a very distinct, garish color. She loves leopard skin and zebra print and things like that.
Print,
yeah, any animal print will do. And not camo. We're talking, Italian. Anyway, we that tradition of wearing sweaters, I think I'm seeing a therapist for still, but there was another one she did while we were wearing the sweaters. We would go volunteer at a food bank on Thanksgiving Day.
That's great. Yeah.
Or that morning.
Right.
There would be home deliveries of Thanksgiving meals to the homebound people. And I remember having to get up and hating that and going to this place I'd never been to, some kitchen of some church or some food pantry. And there'd be all these people I didn't know, and we'd all have to put on gloves and work in a line, and we're handling food, right? And within an hour or two of that, I begin to see the people that were coming in that needed food, or the boxes of food going out. And you start to realize these are real homes, real people that don't have a meal today. Mm-hmm. And they're depending on us to bring that or prepare that for them. I remember as a kid, just the profound flip that created in my little selfish, narcissistic teen mind, right?
Yeah.
That there was more to my life than just me and my wants and my desire, that there was a world out there. I think this generation today, teens and tweens and young adult college, they really care about social justice, right?
That's true.
So I think Thanksgiving has an opportunity in it for a parent to find a local food pantry, a food drive, canned food drive, whatever there is in your community, there'll be something. Take the time to drag your kids down there sometime in that weekend or around Thanksgiving. And I think that's a nice antidote to the whole selfishness
I think that's
of the
great.
culture.
Yeah.
So that's my encouragement. It helped me as a parent. I'm not even going to say it helped my kids. It helped me keep my head straight while I was dealing with all those pressures.
I think that's great. As you were talking, one of the things that occurred to me, that I'm really passionate about single parents with our solo parent society. I would encourage parents out there to think about anyone that they might know that is a single parent and reach out to them and just see if they have plans. And if they don't, invite them over to your house.
That's great.
Because the holidays are very difficult for single parents for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's either you're alone with your kids, or you don't have your kids and you're just alone because the kids are at the other parent's house. I remember one Thanksgiving that I had to share custody that day. And so in the morning they were with me, and in the afternoon they went to their mom's. And so I was faced with an afternoon of just like I didn't know what to do. And
all alone,
yeah. And so I was invited over. I believe you invited me over one year. Another gentleman, Michael Omardian, who's a friend of mine, invited me to be part of them, and that meant a great deal. Because I didn't, you don't know if you do have your kids, do you make a big turkey dinner? They may not even appreciate it or whatever. So I'm just saying, if you're a parent out there and you have a nuclear home, find someone and just reach out to them that is a single parent and just see if they have plans. And don't ask, would you like to, it's a charity kind of whatever, insist. We'd love you to come and be a part of our Thanksgiving. Because that, like you're saying, in giving to a food bank or serving, that is another example of modeling what it is to be Christ to other people and to our kids. So you can do that and actually serve somebody as well as model something for your own home, that we will be a home that reaches out and includes other people that are broken or hurting. So I would just offer that as encouragement to those families that are fortunate enough to be intact.
Yeah, and that's such a good reminder. I think there are single people of all kinds.
It's true.
In our life,
True.
Whether they're widows, whether they're just people who never married, who may not have family in the area and can't afford to travel. Be aware.
Totally. Go rack your brain and find
just
someone.
Be like, hey, how can we reach out?
This Thanksgiving, I'll give you an example. We know somebody that's close to one of my daughters that was in the foster kid program. He's now a college student. But we're going to be out of town. He has nowhere to go. Doesn't have any family around here. And so it's too late to book him on our cruise, but he just simply asked if he could stay in our house because he doesn't want to be in a dorm with everyone else gone.
Right.
And my heart's breaking for him because I'm thinking, gosh, I wish we could do something, but we're going to be out of the country on that day. So another friend just said, please give him my number and let him know that he can come. Because he literally is going to be, he's not a parent, but he is an adult and he's a college student. So like you said, rack your brain of people that might be alone this holiday season and reach out to them and include them.
Well, I can see that we could go a long time talking about this.
Yep.
There are as many ways to reach out into your community to express Thanksgiving through action as there are people. I mean, each family can sort of respond in their own way. I mean, even to the point that they put the angel trees up for Christmas about that time, right?
Yep.
You can go to an angel tree almost any gas station, grocery store in the country.
In the United States.
Yeah, you can go in there and as a family, on Black Friday, instead of going crazy shopping for yourself, you can grab an angel tree tag or two and go shopping for those kids as another antidote or offset to this sort of selfish current that comes at Christmas.
Yeah.
I think for parents, it's as simple as just sitting down and going, how are we going to respond? We know it's coming. How are we as a family going to maintain our perspective in this season?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
For each family, there are different ways of doing things. Now, I'm going to flip the conversation to the other side. I'm going to call this the Southern Living mystique. All right. Southern Living, if you're not familiar, is this really nice family magazine that comes out in the South. And they have the coolest covers, right? Mm-hmm. They have the most elegant homes with the most perfect meals as like the high def image on every single edition, right? They even have a Thanksgiving edition. I saw at Kroger. I almost bought it. It had the menus and the recipes. And in every single setting of the pumpkin pie or the dressing and the turkey and this home that's in the background, no one has that home.
Right.
It's perfect. No one has a home that perfect because it's a set, right? It's not a real house where people are just...
No, it's staged.
Yeah. It's this utopic sort of perfection, right? And I think you have to be careful because in your mind, you want this to go so well. You want your family to be so in harmony, right?
Mm-hmm.
And loving and supportive and everybody to be aware and experiencing this gratitude of Thanksgiving. And you have this sort of Southern living sort of ideal in your mind, right?
Right.
Well, what happens, right?
It's not like that.
No. In fact, it's quite different, right? It's not going to ever be like that because that's not real.
No, it's more like Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Meal.
It's more Chevy Chase than than Paula Deen. Yeah, I mean you're yeah. I feel many times like I've lived some of the Chevy Chase
I think we all have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it was so successful, is that we all get it.
Yeah, exactly. So you could see yourself in that. And I think you have to have a little humor, right? As
Have
you
to
go
roll
into
with it.
Thanksgiving.
Yep.
You can tell when your spouse, and it can be a man or a woman. This is not, male or female. This is just personality. There's one of you that hangs on too tight, right? There's one of you that's just wound a little tight, and you got to help them as they go into Thanksgiving to unwind just a little. Like, this isn't going to be what you hoped it would be, but it's going to still be awesome, right? You sort of lower that expectation for
really important. Right. And that does not mean fix them.
Right. No.
You should.
You're not doing therapy.
Blah.
No. This is just much more like you begin the process of saying, you look, first of all, the first clue that this is happening, there are Southern Living books in your house, right?
Right. And they're measuring everything by that.
If you're seeing that, if you're seeing your wife spend extra time on Pinterest, if the recipe boxes are out.
That's the problem for me, is the cooking thing. Like if I don't nail it.
Right. So all this pressure we put on ourselves.
We just need to kind of dial that back a bit.
Yeah, so my encouragement is don't forget to chill a little bit. Like there's, loosen the grip just a tad. Okay, that brings me to the last thought. So you are a foodie, you're a chef. What's your favorite food and where do you go for recipes?
It would have been nice to have a little preparation on this.
Oh, come on. I know you are cooking all the time. You've got a couple websites you got to go to.
To be really honest with you, I look at 3 or 4 recipes and then I kind of make my own. So I've started creating my own recipe. So there's not a website that I go to. Although, I mean, the great thing about the internet now is that you can just go interesting ideas for stuffing or new recipe for stuffing. And there's all kinds of variations of it that you can find online. I love that process of not just finding, okay, here's the definitive stuffing recipe. I'm looking for something that's a little bit different. So, but I love the Thanksgiving meal. I love just the basics. I don't go trippy or gourmet. It's just like make it good and make it simple. And so I don't know that there is a website that I go to necessarily. It's just kind of, I've over the years just kind of honed in what I do. And let me tell you the secret.
I want to
great
know.
Turkey.
We all want to know the secret to great turkey.
Make sure you brine the turkey the night before. Brining is a solution of sugar, salt, fruit, spices, and water, cold water. And you soak the turkey in it for 8 to 12 hours.
Now, is the turkey thawed or is it still frozen?
Yes, it's got to be thawed.
Okay, so that's the hardest part for most people, right?
Is getting the thawing.
They think it just takes a day in the fridge, and it takes what?
Yeah.
Like 48
days.
Yeah. It takes like a week in the fridge to thaw out a turkey.
But once you thaw it, get a trash bin with a plastic bag and a bunch of ice and make a brine. I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in your turkey. And there's plenty of recipes to look up for brine, but it makes turkeys moist. It makes them more flavorful.
Have you ever done the deep fry thing?
I've not done that. I've wanted to, but I've just not.
I know some people smoke their turkeys. Other people do the traditional sort of, pineapple rings and a cherry and that kind of thing. They do that with ham. Some people do ham and not turkey.
Yeah. Well, whatever you do, smoke it, fry it, roast it or whatever, brine your turkey.
Okay.
That's
brine your turkey, Robert
brine
says.
your turkey.
Yeah, so here's another really important question. Pecan or pumpkin pie?
Neither.
Ooh.
I don't do either.
Oh, you don't do either?
Apple.
What do you... Apple pie?
Yeah.
Okay, fruit pie.
Yeah, I don't... But, we have pumpkin. I've just never taken to pumpkin, so... The pumpkin spice latte has nothing on me. Like it doesn't
have any power over you.
Nothing.
Okay. I, on the other hand, will eat a candle that smells like pumpkin.
It's true. I've watched them.
I love pumpkin, man. I eat pumpkin ice cream. I eat pumpkin anything, man. Pumpkin butter, whatever we got. It's pumpkin. I'll eat it. Yeah,
that's all you.
I've actually looked at a pumpkin candle,
like what does
wondered.
that taste like?
I didn't do it, but I wondered.
Yeah.
That looks like pie. Smells
like pie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pumpkin pie for me is, I'm a type 2 diabetic, so I take medicine and exercise to keep that under control. I'm going to cheat. Yeah, I'm going to cheat on pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving.
Well, that's what holidays are for.
Yeah, there's a need, right? Yeah, some grace there. I know all of our listeners are laughing, hopefully, as they think about the Thanksgiving holiday. At the very end of this, Thanksgiving was a moment that Christians, really that settled America, took the time to really do what we just described. So think about it. They invited the Indians, the Native Americans, to join with them in gratitude for God's provision of food, really, for the winter ahead.
I love that. That's such a powerful example. It's not just celebrating within their own group.
Right. It was inclusive, right?
It's inclusive.
Yeah.
Reach out to our enemies. Let's reach out to those that are not like us. It's a good message. Great.
It is a great message, and it can be lost and manipulated and twisted up by our modern media. I think for Christians and families, this Thanksgiving, whether you're single, blended, traditional, whatever, it doesn't matter. Talk about a little bit of the history that this holiday has. Don't let our culture be the only voice our kids hear.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Well, if you've been listening, I hope you've enjoyed this. We're going to be doing a Christmas special in a few weeks, talking about our Christmas experiences as well, and that might be even more humorous. But we'll hear about how Robert's cruise went. We'll find out if it was everything he hoped it would be. And we hope to hear from you as well. And if you would rate us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher. We also have a website, brilliantlybraveparenting.com. You can get our YouTube feed there. You can get the audio podcast as well. So thank you for listening. God bless you. And I hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving this year.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Parents, remember, even if you may not feel brilliant or brave, you are. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. And I am not ashamed, for I know whom I have believed. I am convinced that he is able to guard until that day what has been entrusted to me. 2 Timothy 1:7-13. This podcast is a service of iShine Ministries and the Tween Gospel Alliance. All rights reserved. Donations to Brilliantly Brave are tax-deductible at ishinelive.com. Review and subscribe to this podcast on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, or on our webpage. And read our blog and connect with us at wordpress@brilliantlybrave.com. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Brilliantly Brave.
Like a light, we're made to shine.
Hey parents and grandparents, this is Zach Fay, creator of Light Gliders, a digital game world of Christian faith and fun. The critical years to impact kids for Christ are before the age of 13, and kids are spending more time digitally connected than ever before. Light Gliders was created to redeem this time and to encourage faith, values, and meaningful conversations among the kids you care about. Visit us today at lightgliders.com or download the Light Gliders app.
We're made to shine.
iShine is a faith-based ministry and media company that looks and feels a lot like a Christian version of Disney. iShine is more than entertainment. We're the producer of the largest Christian tween TV series in the world, a nationally syndicated radio show, a Nashville-based record label, host to multiple live tours and summer festivals, an interactive website and social media, and a provider of printed and digital devotionals, preteen Bibles, and church curriculums. But more than anything, we're a trusted Christian resource for parents and pastors. You can turn to us for all things tween. Check us out at ishinelive.com.